Hi everyone, this is Twinkle from Frontlist Media and welcome to today's session for PVLF 2026. The title of today's session is Adventures Through Words and the theme is fun characters, creativity and childhood imagination. Today we have with us Anshika Iyer, Debangshi Chakrabarti and Ridhan Jain. Anshika Iyer, the winner of Once Upon in Our Minds Season 1 International Story Writing Competition, organized by Red's World Publishing, is a versatile young writer with a vivid imagination and a talent for story writing. She enjoys exploring history through her writing and creating strong, memorable characters inspired by the books she reads and the world around her. Anshika continues to grow as a writer and an artist. Debangshi Chakrabarti, the winner of Once Upon in Our Minds Season 3 International Story Writing Competition organized by Ridge World Publishing, is an emerging author who writes with depth and sensitivity. Her stories often explore human emotions and real life experiences, making her work relatable and impactful. Her articles have been published in leading newspapers of Assam. She loves reading and writing and also enjoys music, journaling, and discovering new ideas as well. Riddhan Jain is one of the India's youngest and most inspiring authors, known for his creativity, clarity, and powerful imagination. The founder of Ridge World Publishing, he is also an audiobook narrator, motivational speaker, YouTube podcaster, and a passionate child philanthropist, holding 6 records in India and Asia Book of Records. Radhan is an avid reader and loves to share stories and inspire kindness, courage, and hope. I welcome you all to this session of PVLF 2026.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
ma'am. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
So, my first question, which is for all of you, is who was the first person you showed your story to and what was their reaction?
My writing journey has always been a little unusual. At the age of 4, I already started writing, I already started narrating my stories. And thanks to my parents' constant encouragement, at the age of 6, I started writing my stories and I enjoyed the process. The first person I shared my stories with was my mother. I was very young during that time, and I still remember how happy she was. And like all moms, she immediately focused on grammar and spellings. But the person who gave the strongest impression after I shared my first story with my mother was my teacher. She was genuinely surprised when I shared her my stories. It was during COVID time, and she'd given us a task to share our extracurricular activities, and I shared my stories. She was surprised because I was in grade one during that time, and she had not even introduced us about story writing. And my story had proper introduction, body, and conclusion. At first, she didn't believe that actually I had written it. But after I sent more and more stories, she realized that this wasn't a one time thing. So she decided to support me. She believed that I had done it. She shared it with the principal, with my parents sent it to friends, and we got wonderful feedback. And we can say that, and I believe that she was the one who inspired the first step to publishing my story. Thank you, ma'am.
That's that's very wonderful. Very nice journey. So,
Ma'am, can I go next?
yeah, please, sure.
So basically, my writing journey started when I was like in class three. So it's a very like it's a very heartwarming story I can say because back in class three, I used to constantly I used to study in Guwahati, right? I studied in Guwahati, and my paternal grandparents used to stay in Duliajan. It's in Upper Assam. So like during my holidays, during the puja vacation, summer vacation, winter vacation, I always used to go there with my mom because my father also used to stay there. He still stays there. So one day what happened? It was one of those days when I was in Duliajan, and suddenly in the evening the line went out. So I was watching the TV, and that too, and the TV was not connected with the inverter. So then what happened was that I was bored. So my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, he told me that why don't you narrate a story? Why don't you try to narrate a story? And then I made up a a very childish story about Goddess Durga and how she destroys evils. So I made up a very childish story about that. And then he was like, you should record it. I'll give you a diary to write it in. You should record your story in the diary, and you can make a storybook for me so that I can read it in my free time when you go back to Guwahati. I was like, yeah, that works. So in the morning, what happened? Next morning, I wrote the story. I showed it to him. I showed it to my grandfather. He was like, it's a very nice story. Then I showed it to my mom. And again, as Ridhan said earlier, like how mothers are, they'll start to find out the spelling mistakes, then the grammar and the punctuation. She did the same with me. She was like, you made a mistake here, you made a mistake there, like you should write in this way. So like she constantly kept on like correcting my small mistakes, and like slowly and steadily my writing improved. And yeah, basically I could say that my writing journey started from there only, with my grandfather, and then my mom and my grandfather, they both encouraged me. So then slowly and steadily I began to write articles too, which got published, and then more books that I read, I got inspired by them. So yeah, over the years, my writing style also changed to a great extent. So this is my writing journey.
Very wonderful.
I'll go next. The first person I showed my story to was my mother, and she initially couldn't believe I had written such a story, and she had this feeling of my daughter has all grown up. so when so when she read the book in detail, she was quite surprised that I had written such a story, and this was all inspired by a walk. She was in so she was surprised that a walk had triggered my imagination so much. She did suggest a few small details here and there to make the flow of the story better. Thank you.
That's nice. So I'll move on to my next question, which is that what part of writing actually makes you the happiest? Is it idea generation, thinking about the idea, drafting the outline of the story, or writing the story, or then, reading it and then editing it? So there are four parts. Which is your favorite one? And which one makes you the happiest?
Honestly, every step of writing is truly fun. It touches me in every way. When an idea strikes, the excitement, it mystifies me that, okay, how is this story going to grow? That curiosity pushes me further to explore more. And when drafting my story, it's like entering my own world. There, I let my imagination run wild. I imagine the plot, create characters, build the setting, and depending on what is the story, I also do a lot of research. For example, right now, I am working on my most exciting project yet. I'm working on mythological fiction called Ravan. So I'm researching, I'm learning about history, culture, mythology, and that gives me a deep understanding. It's like mixing facts with my imagination, and that's simply amazing. Finally, editing. Editing gives fun in a different way. It teaches me more. If I am editing my own work, then I try to make the story in the best possible way I can before I hand it over to the editor. Editing makes me improves my language. It improves my style, my clarity, and it is amazing to see how the story transforms, how it polishes itself. And that is something that makes me truly happy and satisfied. Thank you.
Very wonderfully articulated.
If I talk about myself, like I would say that when I start imagining a particular story or when the idea strikes me. So basically the thing is I daydream a lot. Like a lot. I daydream about the most random stuff. Like people like sometimes like people who won't even daydream about things, I daydream about those things. Like I daydream about the most random stuff. And you know what? I love daydreaming because I immerse in my own imagination. I immerse in my own alternate reality where things go according to the way I want them to go. Where like I get the main character feeling. So yeah, I really love daydreaming, even though it's not very healthy for like at times it's not very healthy. But then when I daydream, right? So there's like a lot of ideas in my brain. That's what I think. Like there's a lot of ideas in there in my brain. It's there. It keeps on like it keeps on changing, evolving. I don't know what to do with so many ideas, so much of imagination. Like I have this feeling. Okay, I have to write this down. I have to write that down. Others I'll forget. I'll forget. But I don't get the time because of my school stuff and my academic work. But then these ideas keep on staying in my brain, right? So what I do is that I just keep it in there and I kind of make it into a movie. So when I get very bored or when I feel tired, I'll just sit there and I will replay that those ideas which I have turned it into a movie in my own head. So this is the most exciting part because I know I have this idea and then like I and then I know that I have to keep it inside me. And so when I get the time, like after I grow up, I will like when I go to college or something, when I go to college, I'll keep these ideas, like the ideas which are inside my brain, I'll put it into words, and I'm thinking of publishing my books based on those ideas. Like I really want to do that. I want my ideas, like I want to showcase my ideas, my imagination to the world. And I feel like that if I convert these ideas into books and into words and stories, like it might even become a bestseller. I feel like that. It's my own personal belief. Okay, I don't know, but I do
Definitely,
feel like that. So
it
yeah,
definitely will. Don't worry.
I would say that imagining is the most exciting part when it comes to writing a story or when it comes to writing a book. Like I really love imagining, even if it is the most random stuff or the most random thing. Like it's very exciting for me. Thank you.
My favorite would probably be a combination of ideas and ideas and editing, because ideas are mostly formed in the mind, and making the characters and building them is also very exciting for me. And rereading the story and rereading the story, making it better, in making the flow better is just as exciting for me.
So, my next question is that if you could write a sequel or part two of your book, what new adventure would you explore?
So if there's a part of my book, so basically my story, it basically talks about like how a person's brain works for the last 7 minutes after they meet their demise. So that is basically my stories around. So the story basically explores friendship and love. Okay, so the thing is that the girl and the guy. Okay, so we have seen the guy's perspective, right? We have seen the boy's perspective. We know that what goes through his brain in the last 7 minutes after his demise. We know that, but we don't know what the girl is going through at the same time after she comes to know that, like her friend, the person she loved the most, is no more. So if I have to write a sequel to this story, I'll probably explore the girl's perspective. Like I'll write how she is feeling, her sorrow, and how she tries to move on from this loss, how she tries to keep him in her heart, but at the same time not linger in that loss, but to move on with her life and to, find joy in the little things around her. So that would basically be the second part of my book or my story. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Nice. I look forward to it.
Thank you, thank you. I'll obviously write a second part of this.
And how about you, Anshika?
My character Ammu is probably going through a lot of teenage pressure right now, like peer pressure and a lot of teenage stuff. So I want to write a sequel and see how she navigates her life and goes through this phase of her life.
Nice, nice. Okay. So for me, if I had to write a sequel for my books, I would choose my fifth book, The Mellifluous Odyssey. My protagonist, Mike, I was sure that he has gone, in the first book, he has gone across the world to find his soul instrument. But I want to show that while he is traveling the world, he also gets a small taste of the Indian music. And the history of Indian music is rich and colorful. So I believe that one chapter is not enough. I want to show that Mike is actually moving to India, not just visiting. He is visiting the parts of the he is visiting India, which is unique for its sound. He is learning the different styles of Indian classical music. And I also want to show that he builds his family over there. I can already imagine that his future wife will jokingly complain that, oh, you spend more time with your instruments than me. In the first part, I have shown Mike's growth from a curious teenager to adult. And now in the second part, I want to show how he comes to next phases of life, finding a career, finding balance, and how that adventures never stop. Even when you grow old, instead they continue. They can be different and sometimes even more meaningful. Thank you.
That's very cute. And I'll be looking forward to reading all of your sequels of the books you guys will be writing. So, my next question is for Anshika. Your character Amu seems lively and fun. How did you develop her personality?
So as a kid, I was told that I would talk a lot. I would ask so many questions to the point of being annoying, and my parents would answer as much as they could. So we had gone on a walk once, and I wouldn't stop talking, chattering, exploring. So I can say that my character is basically like me.
That's very wonderful. So, my next question is for Debangshi. Your story shows imagination and depth. Which part of your life inspired your main character?
Which part of my life? This is a very interesting question. I would say the main character of my story. I think so. Like every single part of my life maybe inspired this story because I try to put like even the smallest bits of my life into my stories. Like even if it is this minuscule, I'll try to like put it into the story so that when my readers read the stories, they feel like they are having a little bit of peek into my world or maybe into my imagination. So I try to make it very much relatable to the people around me and also to myself. So it's not like one part which inspired the story. It's like every single part of it inspired the story. And like this story came into being because I got scolded by my mom because my pre boards results were not good. No, not pre boards. Half yearly results were not good in class 10. So I was like, I was so I was very sad, nah, because I disappointed her and she was angry also. And then she came across Ridge World, and then she was like, "Do you want to try?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can give it a try." And then my story got selected, like it won the competition. So yeah, it was inspired from a very, when I was going through a very sad period of time because of my not so good results. So So yeah, but I would say that mostly my stories are inspired from the the like the sad parts, because I feel like writing those things into my stories, it kind of relieves me too of my sadness or maybe of my pain. So if I write it in my stories, I feel like I'm letting go of it and I feel lighter, I feel happier, and the stories also turn out good. So it's a nice point there also. Thank you.
That
You
is
are too
something
good, Debangshi.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Sorry.
much.
that is something people take ages to realize. Trust me. So it's a very good thing that you've learned to translate your negative aspects of life into a very positive way of showing your emotions, articulating your emotions, and maybe putting them onto paper. It's a very wonderful job. Good job, Dipangshi. So my last question is for Ridan. You write with great clarity for your age. What is the one writing habit that helps you the most?
Firstly, ma'am, thank you so much for appreciating me. One habit that helps me, that one habit that helps me write is writing down my ideas when they come in my mind. So, as if when any idea comes in my mind, I have the habit of writing it down. I've seen everybody, they journal their thoughts, their feeling, their ideas. And I also have a friend who jots down slogans and small lessons they learn every day. That deeply inspires me. And earlier, I like to connect what Anshika had said about rereading. So, another thing that truly helps me is rereading what I write. That helps, that when I reread my work, it helps me to keep my thoughts clearer. It makes my thoughts be more organized. And through that, I can transform the stories. I'll do better. I'll make my stories even more interesting. Thank you.
That's very wonderful. All of you guys are very amazing. I really like the zeal with what you talk about your books, your stories, your imagination. It was very wonderful having this conversation with all three of you.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
It was
Thank you
very
so
wonderful.
much for giving us this
Thank
opportunity, ma'am.
you.
Trust me, the opportunities for us. You guys were very amazing.
Thank you.
And it
Thank
was
you.
truly a pleasure for me to actually talk to all three of you. It was wonderful. So, this will be marking the end of the session. Okay, I
Yes,
hope you
sir.
all enjoyed it.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I truly enjoyed it. I hope that you also liked the answers, ma'am.
definitely,
My
definitely. So
response.
wonderful. So, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you so much
Um,
for giving such an amazing opportunity to all of us. Thank you so
I agree with them, ma'am. Thank you.